The station you can count on.
Thank you for joining us here on News 2 at noon. Brad Franco alongside Josh Marlers. We'll get to Josh in just a couple of seconds with a look at our forecast, but we're going to start with some breaking news here today. A former police chief at South Carolina State University has been charged in federal court in downtown Charleston. This news just coming down, and Cuthbert Langley is there, joins us now live with the very latest. Cuthbert.
Hey, Brad, the case just wrapped up just a few minutes ago. Michael Bartley, who was a former South Carolina State Police chief, has been charged in federal court revolving around a kickback scheme. Basically, he and Jonathan Pinson, who is the former chairman of the board at South Carolina State, were involved in this scheme basically to purchase land. Pinson was going to buy the land for South Carolina State in order to get a Porsche Cayenne from one of his friends who was selling that piece of land. And then Bartley was also going to be getting an all-terrain vehicle and also about $30,000 from that sale as well. That was all handed down in court today. I have with me Mark Moore, who's one of the prosecutors in the case. Mr. Moore, can you just kind of step through the charges that Bartley is facing?
Well, Mr. Bartley pled guilty this morning to conspiracy to violate the Hobbs Act, which criminalizes extorting money under color of law, to conspiracy to commit honest services wire fraud, and to conspiracy to take more than $5,000 from an institution that receives $10,000 or more in federal funds. Mr. Bartley admitted in open court that he was part of this kickback scheme, and that in return for his assistance in convincing South Carolina State University officials to buy this piece of property, that he would receive 1% of the sales price, which was approximately $29,000 to $30,000, and an ATV. That was what Mr. Bartley was going to receive.
And there is another case in Columbia this afternoon at 2:30. Can you give us any information about what that's going to be about?
Well, this investigation is ongoing. Earlier this morning, the indictment in that case was unsealed. There's an indictment that charges Mr. Pinson and another gentleman named Eric Robinson. I believe that indictment is now available on Pacer. Obviously, those are allegations in an indictment. They're just allegations. Those defendants are innocent until proven guilty.
But they may be in a court case this afternoon.
They will be making initial appearances this afternoon at 2:30 in Columbia.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Moore.
Thank you.
Brad, again, just to wrap up, what we have just heard is that Jonathan Pinson, who again is was the former chairman of the board at SC State, may be appearing in court in Columbia at 2:30 this afternoon in relation to this conspiracy charge. Mr. Bartley faces up to 5 years in federal prison and a $250,000 fine as well. So again, former police chief Bartley been charged with conspiracy revolving around purchasing a piece of land with South Carolina State, and he and Pinson both actually stepped down from their positions in February of last year. So Brad, hopefully this kind of wraps up the end of legal troubles for SC State that's been going on, as we know, for quite some time. Reporting live from downtown Charleston, I'm Cuthbert Langley, News 2.
Cuthbert, thank you. And don't forget, as Cuthbert just mentioned, there's another hearing coming up today at 2:30. And then a press conference in Orangeburg at South Carolina State. That'll be at 5 o'clock. We'll have the very latest coming up today on News 2 at 5 and 6 o'clock.